Welcome to another episode of Prescription for Life. My name is Linda Golik. I'm the Health and Wellbeing Consultant at Bellin Health, and I am joined today by a fabulous registered dietitian with Bellin, Lee Hyrkas. Hi, Lee.
Yes, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Always fun to talk to you.
Yeah, always fun to be on these podcasts.
What I love about Lee, for those of you that haven't heard Lee on our episodes before, look back at some of the previous episodes because he always does such a good job. Lee makes the overwhelming topic of nutrition real and way more digestible. I always appreciate how you do that.
Well, I hope to continue to do that. It's a complex world, but we try to simplify it. So hopefully we can continue that today.
Great. So for those of you that don't know Lee, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself and what do you do at Bellin?
So yes, I'm a registered dietitian. So I work mainly in our outpatient clinics. So I work with a variety of different clients, weight management, diabetes, sports nutrition. So really day to day is never the same. And I really appreciate that. And it's helped me gain a lot of experience in the nutrition world.
Yeah, very cool. So this month, we are talking about You Are What You Eat. So we're focusing on the lifesaver topic of nutrition throughout the summer. And why does it matter what we put in our bodies? You know, people sometimes will argue like, oh, a calorie is a calorie and it's all the same energy and things like that. But from your perspective, why does it matter?
Well, now over the past 2 to 3 decades, we just have so much evidence-based, eating patterns matter. So, I mean, we have the portfolio diet research that has come out more recently where if you're eating in a certain pattern of foods, you tend to reduce your heart disease risk by about 15% or so. You can reduce your cholesterol up to 30%, and that's as good as a statin, first generation at least. So really the types of foods you put in really can make a difference internally.
I love the phrase food is medicine because I often think about it in that way because there's a big difference between like a superfood that has all these beautiful vitamins and nutrients and maybe a piece of food that's highly processed and has lots of chemicals and lots of colors and all this crud in it. And so, you know, I always, back in my Weight Watcher days when I worked for them, I always talk to people about the fuel that you put in your car. You want to put crappy fuel in your car. Correct. And you don't want to put that in your body either.
No, it leads to more health issues down the road, more money going out because of health issues. So if we're trying to save that money for fun things, we want to make sure we're putting quality fuel into our body.
Yeah. So one of the things you and I were talking about, and certainly what other people have noticed as well, is that maybe the trips to the grocery store have gotten a bit more pricey, and we're all kind of feeling that pain. And one of the things that we do at Bellin that's really special, and maybe our patients don't even realize it, we really tune into the idea of these social determinants of health. And so we're really looking at your overarching life experience and what things may be contributing to your health in a good way or in a not so good way. And one of the things that we look at is nutrition because people can be impacted with what their nutritional intake is based upon what their income level is, what their education level is, and things like that. So one of the things that we're trying to do this month is really just maybe help people learn some tips and tricks on you can eat healthy and it doesn't have to be the most expensive thing.
Correct.
So that's just one of the things we wanted to kind of focus on. So what do you think are some healthy, cost-effective type foods?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always say keep it simple so we don't have to go out and do all organic or the most buzzed food that you hear about on the internet. So really getting back to the basics. So we can think about beans and lentils. Those can be great choices. They're inexpensive for what they are. They give you protein, so it can help shave a little bit of money off your protein budget overall. After beans and lentils, I always think potatoes. They get a lot of hate in our day and age.
From the carb haters.
So carb haters, don't hear me out here.
Hear me out. There's a lesson here.
So potatoes as a whole, in our country, we tend to eat a lot of them in French fry and chip form.
Yes.
Those aren't the ones I'm promoting today. I'm talking more like sweet potatoes, red potatoes, whole potatoes in general. Because one, they're inexpensive, and when we consume those foods, they actually help our gut bacteria. So there's health benefits to it. They keep us more full. And again, if we can swap the chips and French fries over to the whole stuff, it's going to help save you some money too in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. And I forget about Yes, sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Love
Yeah,
those.
people I think go in streaks with those. They have them for a while and then they forget about them or they get sick of them. So yeah, don't be afraid to vary it up a bit and don't be afraid to add a little bit of potatoes back in your meal plan.
Yeah, good tip, good tip. So then on the opposite end of that, where are some places or what are some foods where you think people kind of waste money? Like maybe it's not really the best use of their funds.
Correct.
I always used to tell my Weight Watcher members, Doritos are expensive.
They are.
They really are. They really are. Even though I love them, they are expensive.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part is some people are not going to like me for these next upcoming comments, but it's the fun food. So if you're going to try to shave your budget a bit grocery shopping, you really have to figure out what are the fun foods you're buying. Doritos are a fun food. Soda's a fun drink. So all of those inner food aisle or foods that are in those inner aisles of the store, a lot of them are the fun foods. And so if you do feel like your budget, like you look at it at the end and you're like, yeah, I have a lot of chips or sweets, sodas, that's going to add probably $20 to $30 onto your budget because a case of soda, a 12-pack is like $10 now in this day and age. And a family bag of chips, which is never going to feed a whole family, is about $5 to $6. So they just tack on so much to that end of the bill.
You know, one of the tips I have in my content for the month, even just, in terms of beverages, drink water.
Yep.
Take a slice of lemon, put it in your water. Make that choice, maybe not all the time, but sometimes, instead of buying beverages that are going to cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, and even if you get into the habit of every other trip, maybe you don't buy the fun foods every trip, maybe we buy some every other trip, and maybe we don't buy all of the ones we were buying previously. Because, I mean, we have to take baby steps. We're not going to be able to go from 0 to 100, but even gradual swaps from those fun foods over the more nutrient-rich foods will either save you some money or at least make your bill not go up.
You know, the other thing that I think that people sometimes forget about is some of these things you can make alternatives for them as well. I mean, I think even if you look at granola bars, and granola bars really can be candy bars in disguise.
Absolutely.
If you look at the sugar content,
Absolutely.
right?
Dipped in chocolate, sprinkles on top.
Right, they taste really great, but they're just like a candy bar. Well, you can make yourself maybe like some energy balls or something like that where you're choosing the ingredients, you know what's going in. It's more economical, and it's actually healthier for you.
Yeah, you're not paying for the convenience. So anything made by somebody else, you're going to pay a convenience factor. So the more we can get into making stuff at home, the more you're going to see in your bank account, which is a positive thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So kids are home for the summer.
Yes.
Kids are home for the summer.
That time of year.
We're officially in the summer vacation. And so that can be kind of a food challenge as well because kids are home more, kids want snacks, they want to live on ice cream and sodas and Kool-Aid packets and all those things that are so good for them. So what are your tips for managing some nutrients for your kids in the summertime?
I would say that the number one tip, which I tend to utilize a lot at our house, is just make sure your food environment is conducive to eat healthy. So if you feel like you have a lot of the fun foods just laying around or really accessible, we might need to switch that up a bit and put those in like a little bit harder to see locations and just try to get more of the nutrient-rich stuff in the house. So keep a fruit bowl out. That might make your children grab a few more pieces through the day. We might have to, when we get food home, prep it right away. So maybe chopping up veggies so that at least they're done. I will tell you that 9 out of 10 times kids are not going to prep their own veggies. No. It just usually doesn't happen. But if we prep it for them, that might make them 50% more likely to grab it. And I also think even in the summer months, maybe start growing a container garden. Make it their project. Like, hey, we'll plant it together, but every day go out and water it, go out and check it. There's been plenty of research showing that if kids grow things, they're much more likely to try it. And it gives them, again, just a little project to work on or to do throughout the summer.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. Yeah, I think about, like, what do you see when you first open the fridge, right? So if you take that watermelon and you cut it up and it's in a clear container and both for you and for your kids. You know, we open the doors, we see that, we're much more likely to grab it.
Yeah, we're visual eaters as a culture, and I think that's kind of built in human nature as well. So yeah, keeping things out in the open that you want your children to be eating more of, that's the ticket. Or again, pulling it up to the front of the fridge. That way they're not opening up and seeing just soda right away, or there are other fun foods that might be around.
The other thing that I always think that you can't discount this, that's not the right word I'm looking for. It's a powerful thing to be an example for your child. So don't discount the power of that, because what they see you eating is what they may want. So if they see you having a plain yogurt with some blueberries, they are going to be more likely to want to eat that too.
Oh, definitely. There are many parrots, a lot of them. And so, a lot of times they're just mimicking what they see in nature. So you're absolutely right. If you can be kind of trying to change your eating habits as well at the same time, you'll probably start seeing little changes over time. Not right away, but over time you might see them saying, hey, can I have a taste of that? Or, hey, could you make me one of those? It really does happen if you continue to do it consistently.
Awesome. Well, always good to have you here, Lee. Any other tips and tricks on eating healthy, eating on a budget, summer eating, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, again, number one thing is, remember, keep a balance. There's no, foods you have to completely get rid of, but definitely trying to sub some of those fun foods out for the more nutrient-rich produce, things of that nature. And this summer, let's try to eat at home a bit more.
Yes.
I think I don't think I'd do this topic justice if I didn't say that eating out is going to really hurt your food budget.
Yes.
And so just try to get stuff and bring it home, grill out, maybe get family together, friends. I do think you'll end up saving money. Again, it'll help with just, being more social, which is good for our mental health. So trying to cut back on how many times we eat out throughout a week.
Yeah. And it's a healthier option too, because when we're making it, we can control what goes into it.
Correct.
We can maybe put a little less sauce on it, maybe a little less cheese.
Absolutely. And we know what's going into it. So we can kind of feel better about that fuel going in, as you mentioned earlier. And maybe down the road, that'll save us some bucks on our health care, hopefully.
Yes, that is the goal.
That's the hope.
Goal. It's prevention.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, thanks so much for being here today, Lee.
Always
enjoy chatting with you, and always pick up a little something new every time we talk. So appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks to our audience for tuning in today. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and we'll see you next time.